months ago, and since then I've been working on getting my practice back, so coming back to practicing Vinyasa Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga, and one of the most challenging parts of that has been working on jump-throughs. Now, it's not like I had an absolutely amazing jump-through right before I was pregnant, but right after I was pregnant it was like, I definitely couldn't get off the ground even a little bit. So I'm almost back to where I was right now, and I thought I would share some of the drills that have been helping me to get there, to actually find the strength in here and the pattern that you need for jump through. So let's jump to it. Jump through, it's like most things in yoga, a combination of having space and having strength. So the shape that we're making here is a cross-legged position. So if you think about this, it's kind of like a really tight sukhasana. So if sukhasana is problematic for you, then I think it's a good place to start practicing this. One way I really like to get into the hips for this position is to work, to find the Sukhasana pose and press the outer ankles down into the floor. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And then we'll flex at the hips. Take the left shoulder down towards the right knee. Go forwards, around to the other side, right shoulder to left knee. Then inhale back. Exhale. So as you're doing this, think about pressing the hips back. So the sit bones don't come off the floor, they're rooting back the way. So we're looking to create deep flexion in the hips. We've got external rotation, we've got flexion which deepens that stretch. And we're rotating around it. So let's go the opposite direction. Inhale to lean back. Exhale. Inhale. Inhale, exhale, go down, and inhale, come back. From here, let's work more on that flexion. Take an inhale to lengthen, and then as you exhale, you walk the fingertips forward. So we will look for flexion of the upper back for the jump through itself, but in this posture right now, practicing to get the hips open, I want you to think about extending the spine. So it's like an anterior pelvic tilt, so the lower back is flattening out, and you'll feel more in those outer hips. So do that one side, then the other side. See if you can cross them hands free to practice for the actual jump through. Press the outer ankles down into the floor and then lengthen the chest forward. Nice. Great. So from the position where we are right now, we can go straight in and lift the legs up. So this is where we want to go when we're actually jumping through, is that you take the legs in, like this Sukhasana position, and you're going to use the legs to press them towards your chest. Now I'd like to start, and this is what I was doing when I was relearning this, so I use the hands to press the legs in and lengthen the spine as much as possible, so that the legs press in towards the chest. Make the feet active, so I like to point the toes, and then use the ankles to squeeze in. And you're aiming to get the knees to stay as close as possible to the chest, because the closer your legs are towards your chest and your upper body, the smaller you're going to be to get through that space. So inhale first, lengthen the spine. Exhale. Draw the knees in, and as you draw the knees in, draw the navel back. Think about cementing that position using the exhale and that transverse abdominis, the very deep core muscle, hugging everything in. So do that again. Breathe in, exhale, pull that in and hold it there. Now maybe can you hold it without the hands? And maybe can you practice the jump through movement by pressing the hands forward? Again, inhale, exhale, squeeze. So you think about that top leg pressing against the bottom leg, which presses into your chest. Now I like to do that when I'm practicing on my own at home or Mysore style. I like to do that before almost every single jump through. Think about how many times you're doing it, you're really creating the strength. And you'll notice maybe that one side is stronger than the other. So do both sides, swap over. So take the other leg on top. Again, inhale, lengthen. Exhale. And squeeze that in and push those hands away here. And so if you're not ready for the jump through yet, this is a good alternative as well to build the strength. Again, use that breath. Exhale, hug the navel in. Nice. Awesome. So I'm already feeling something starting to work there. Let's do more about the hip flexor strength, which is going to bring the legs in towards your upper body. Come to lie down. Now here, bend one knee, make it a right knee, and pull it in towards the chest. Point the left toes. Now inhale. As you exhale, can you bring your head and your knee together? Maybe here hover the left foot. This is where working strength. Now, if you can get the head and the knee to touch, press the knee and the head against each other. Inhale. Just like we did, exhale, pull the navel in. Now, can you keep those glued together, or as close as possible, as you reach the hands forward? What I like to do here is add on what I call the rabbit breath, which really builds and cements any strength position like this, particularly when we're working with the core. So find that head and the knee connected, or as close as possible, and then for a count of 10 we'll do a rabbit breath, in and out through the nose. And then relax. Take a deep breath, fill the belly. Exhale, swap over the legs. Again, inhale, and then exhale. Connect the head and the knee. Point the right toe, and then reach the hands forward as far as you can, or rather keep the head and the knee as close together as you possibly can. Again, rabbit's breath for a count of 10. Nice. Sweet. So, from here, let's roll up and do a similar position, except upside down. So this next exercise is recommended as the drill for jump throughs in Gregor Miley's book, Ashtanga Yoga Practice and Philosophy. And if he says it works, then, he's the boss. So let's practice it. It's a Lolasana drill. I don't have a full Lolasana right now. Used to. I will again by practicing this. Come into Vajrasana so that you're sitting on your heels, and you're going to take your palms so that the fingertips line up with the front of the knees, or even maybe back a little bit. Now, push the floor away, inhale, and then round your upper back. So imagine you're doing cat-cow, or rather, just cat. What we're looking for is the shoulder blades moving to the outside edge. So the same thing, push, round the spine, chin in towards the chest. At the same time, the navel's coming in. So push the hands down into the floor, inhale, exhale. So I'm using a strong Ujjayi breath here, you can hear it. Again, inhale, exhale. So how much can you push into the space between the shoulder blades? Now squeeze the knees together, press the tops of the feet down to the floor, inhale, exhale, the knees and the head come towards each other. Squeeze knees. Now either here stay, or maybe rock the weight forward a little bit. Keep pushing the floor away, rounding the upper back. Inhale, exhale. Again, then exhale. Put it down. So here, although the legs aren't crossed, we're getting closer to the jump through shape because we've added in the upper body, pressing to make that hollow shape. Even as I do this here, you can see this is the space where the legs are going to go. So you're hollowing out here using that flexion of the upper spine. Now you can add on to this. Breathe in. Exhale. round to lift up, and then maybe hover one foot. And breathe here. The more you breathe, the more you let your core get used to this shape. Swap it over the other side. 3 breaths. And then put it down. Maybe you have Lolasana, maybe your feet come off the floor completely, in which case, awesome, practice that. Get the knees as close as possible to your chest. And use, again, that navel. So every time you exhale, the legs are coming in like this. Okay, next, let's start to put it together. So we've got our cross-legged position. We practice the rounding of the spine. Let's bring the floor a little bit higher by using blocks. So, when I practice the full series, I use the blocks. So on my own right now, I'm doing jump throughs not between sides, but after every posture. Between sides, I practice these drills. So unless I'm in lead primary, in which case, of course, I do the full thing. But what we're going to do here is practice this lift up. And there's a certain motion that you can practice in the drill. So take the legs in. Go this way. Take the legs in. Lengthen the spine first. Like we built it before. Exhale. Get the knees in close and press the hands forward. So if the floor was in front of us here, that's us pressing for the jump through. Now, you want the blocks to be beside your hips, because the hands are going to be behind you, not in front. If you practice with your hands in front, you're never going to get an actual jump through. So you have to be ready. Hands press here. Now, inhale, exhale, navel in. Then we lift on the inhale, press into the blocks. See if you can lift the legs. Now I'm doing it super slow motion, but I want you to see this. So I'm not getting much of a lift as I do it slow motion, but you can see where my head is going. Forward. So if you think like rocking, that the hands are here, inhale, exhale, lift on the inhale. The head goes vroom, and it's like a counterbalance for the heaviness of the hips. Now, a word about breath. In the Yoga Sutra, in chapter 3, Patanjali says, by meditating on the upward breath, the yogi can levitate and not have to step on thorns and mud and stuff like that. Now, don't let anyone tell you that Yoga Sutras aren't into asana. This is like an amazing tip for where we are here. When I watch people who struggle with the jump through, more often than not, it's because there's no breath happening. So the number one thing that you probably want to focus is what's happening with the breath. As we've already seen, we're engaging transverse abdominis with that strong navel contraction. And in the same way, we want to use the upward breath, the udanaprana, and inhale to lift up. So that's what we're going to do. Press the hands. Inhale. Exhale. Now inhale. And exhale, we come down. So it's this whoosh, upward draft. Cool. So, we've done it with our blocks. We should do both sides, no matter if the other side is harder. Cool. And now we're going to get a different set of props. The socks. So here I am with my socks. Never practice yoga with socks on. I don't, unless I'm practicing core work and in particular jump through work. So for this you obviously need a slidey floor. Try your kitchen, or I don't know what. I know that for some core work you can use paper plates, but I think that would be a bit faffy for this particular situation, so forget that. Find a friend with a slippy floor and socially distance as you use it. What we're going to do is practice the same thing without the blocks this time, but the socks are going to let us slip through. So it helps if you feel a little bit comfortable with the lift off and you get a little bit of space. And we're going to build the same whole thing. So legs in towards the chest. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, round. Then keep the hands in front of you, in front of your legs. Then inhale, rock forward. And then you drag the legs through. And then we throw the legs back for chaturanga. So, try that again. I'm just showing things a couple of times. You probably want to practice this on your own again and again and again and again and again. Only by doing it again and again and again and again and again will the jump through come, because it's that kind of like counterintuitive shape for the body. But you can get there. I believe it. Let's do the other side. Inhale. Exhale. Cement the legs in. Press with that, the top shin against the bottom shin. Exhale. Cement in again, then inhale. And you drag the legs through. Throw them back. Chaturanga. Oh. First stretch out from the belly, that we're done. Now, exhale. Down dog. Aha, so what did I just do? That was a nice thing. You can do the jump forward as well with these socks on. So, how do we jump forward? We want a nice downward facing dog. The arms should be strong. And in particular, you can take the hands a little bit wider when you're practicing this so that you have space to go through. We're going to bend the knees all the way. We're going to look forward way in advance of the hands. Exhale all the way out, navel to spine. Then inhale, press the hands, and then the feet will hop forward. Now I've got a good drill for this practice, but we're going to get our mat back. So let's get there. So we've practiced a whole bunch jumping back and taking the legs in so that we can get them underneath. All of these drills will help with that. What about going forward? Now, we want the same exact thing except in reverse. But when you're going forward, it seems a little bit counterintuitive to get that, the same rounding which we need in order to make space for the legs to come through. So a really nice way to practice this, if we come into down dog, and then lift the leg towards the ceiling, let's say the right leg. Exhale, draw the knee towards the nose. If you do vinyasa yoga, you do it all the time. But how do we do this? It's not just a knee to the nose, it's a knee to the nose and a rounding. So it's almost like that shape we did at the very beginning, lying on our backs. The knee comes towards the forehead, but at the same time, push the floor away, push into the thumbs, deepen the armpits. Then inhale. Same thing, exhale the left side. So you're aiming to round the upper back as much as possible. Strong and dry, exhale. And get the leg as close in to the upper body as you can. Breathe in. Exhale. From here, you can start to practice in slow motion how the jump forward will work. So again, hands wide. Inhale. Exhale. Take the left knee towards the left elbow, round. Step it back. So it's like a half cross-legged position. Breathe in first, exhale, go forward. Round, 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 round. Maybe point the knee beyond the elbow, step it back. Again. Thinking about rounding as much as you can. And then we add momentum onto it. So we want to bend the knees all the way. And then maybe we'll get all the way through. When you're going through the hands, when you get forward, think about pressing down so that we're still making that rounded space. So, nice and warm. I hope these drills are helpful. Give them a go. As I say, I'm not jumping through without touching the floor yet, but it's a journey. And you notice yourself every day getting a little bit lighter, until eventually we'll all take off and be levitating off the floor like awesome yogis. So thank you for joining me. See you next time.